Thank you so much for coming. I am Chef AJ, and tonight I would like to talk to you about the 7 C's to success. This is what I have learned from my clients. You know, I've worked with literally thousands of people now. I've been following a plant-based diet for almost 40 years. And I learned that those who were successful had certain characteristics in common. And these are called the 7 C's of success. But before I tell you what the 7 C's to success are, and I'll give you a hint, they all start with the letter C, I first want to tell you what the #1 predictor of success will be when adopting any dietary or lifestyle change. It's an 11-letter word. Does anybody know what it is?
Motivation.
Nope. Nope. Wait, I think I heard it. What? Nope. No, those are all good words, but believe it or not, constipation. No, it's hepatic, whatever doctor enterohepatic circulatory. No, the truth is the #1 predictor of your success or ultimately your failure on any lifestyle modification or dietary change program is going to be your environment, because your environment predicts your success. And that's why it's important to set up all of your environments to support your success. Think about it. If you know anybody who's an alcoholic who went to rehab for alcoholism, if they got out and went back to their job at the bar or kept hanging out with their friends at the bar, how successful do you think they would be? Probably not very. And it's the same thing when you're changing your diet and your lifestyle. So your environment is wherever you are. Right now, this is our environment. But for most of us, our primary environment is our home. And that's why it's really important when we're going to attempt to change our diet or lifestyle is that we set up our home in a way that we can't fail. So one of the most important things to do, and I do this with clients all the time, is to get rid of the foods that don't support your dietary change, but put in the foods that do. This includes all your environments. So it includes the candy dish that may be on your desk at work. It includes your glove compartment. I've had clients whose glove compartment was like a 7-Eleven store. So anywhere you are, you have to consider that as your environment, and it has to support the change that you're trying to make if you want to be successful. Everywhere I go is my environment, so what do? I travel with an Instant Pot electric pressure cooker so that I always have healthy food with me wherever I am. I run a program called the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, and the #1 rule is if it's in your house, it's in your mouth. And if you're still keeping something from your old lifestyle in your house, it's not a matter of if you will eat it, only when. So you have to have plenty of healthy choices there. I want to tell you about a client I had that I was working with. She had type 2 diabetes, and she was quite overweight, and she went on the program, and she was reversing her diabetes, and I get a frantic call from her on the 4th of July that she had relapsed, that she ate cheese. And cheese is one of those things that's very hard for people to stop eating, because I'm sure you heard all weekend from a lot of our speakers, there's Miyoko, there's casomorphines in it, there's things that make you feel good in your brain, create some opiate-like effects. And I figured it was 4th of July. Maybe she just couldn't resist temptation at a barbecue. So I learned, though, to say, where did you get the cheese? She said, in the refrigerator. Well, that's a clue right there. If it's in your house, it's in your mouth, and it's not a matter of if you will eat it, just when. And that's why I recommend to people that at least for a period of 21, if not 30 days, to remove all non-compliant foods out of their house. And listen, if you don't want to throw it away, just give it to somebody you don't like, because you shouldn't be eating it. So now I'm going to tell you the secrets from the biggest winners that I work with. These were champions of change who were able to permanently affect dietary and lifestyle changes. And here's the 7 C's of success, and a few of you shouted out some of these words that are in it. So the first C in the 7 C's of success is commitment. And I believe it's the one that all the other C's follow. Because until you commit, there's always going to be hesitancy. You know, when I married my husband, I committed to love him, even if loving him was hard. So commitment doesn't mean perfection. It just means that I have committed to keep trying, to keep being in the conversation, to work towards a goal. And it's really important to have goals, both short-term and long-term goals. And it's even more important to write them down. I don't know if you're familiar with the famous Harvard Business Study, but they studied people from the Harvard Business School, and those who had goals many, many years later were infinitely more successful than those that didn't have goals, and those that wrote their goals down were even more successful and financially more successful than those that didn't write their goals down. So it's really important to have goals, and now with social media, it's so easy to make your goals public. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Bobby Anderson. He's known as the plant fuel trucker. And he drives 20 hours a day in a big rig truck, and he was getting really overweight and out of shape, and his blood markers were not favorable. So he decided to go on a plant-based diet and to cook all his meals in his big rig, because there's a plug in his truck, using the Instant Pot electric pressure cooker. And he started posting his meals on Facebook, and now he's been on TV, and he's got this huge following, because he did this just for himself to be accountable. But it really does help you if you make your commitment public, because addiction can only exist in isolation, first of all, but when you make it public, people will support you. And you'll actually also inspire others, just like Josh LaJohny did with his tremendous weight loss. My mom always used to tell me that it's easy to do what's easy. And if you're interested, that's all you'll do is what's easy. But if you're committed, you'll do whatever it takes. So until you're ready to commit, it's going to be much easier to quit. The second C in the 7 C's to success, any guesses? This is like my favorite word. I got this from Dr. Goldhammer. All the doctors know this word, is compliance. I love the word compliance because there is no emotion attached to it, because it came from Dr. Goldhammer and there's no emotion attached to him. Because all compliance means in medicine is following a prescribed course of action. A lot of people I work with will call me up in tears. Oh, Chef AJ, I was bad, I ate a cookie. Chef AJ, I was good today, I ate kale. You're not bad if you eat a cookie, and you're not good if you eat kale. You're simply compliant or non-compliant. And if you relapse and you eat something that maybe you shouldn't have, something from your old lifestyle, just make sure that the next meal is compliant, because the more compliant meals you can string together, the more likely you are to be successful. Very few people are perfect. I don't think anybody is. But the thing is it's not a matter if you relapse that's going to determine your success. It's how quickly you get back on the program. Now, there are ways to increase your compliance if you're trying to adopt a plant-based diet or any lifestyle change for that matter. I call these the ABCs of compliance. A stands for accountability. So the example I gave about Bobby Anderson posting his meals on Facebook, that was also keeping him accountable. But you know a great way to be accountable is to go to the 99-cent store, get a notebook, and start keeping a food journal. Because if you know you have to write it down, especially you have to post it somewhere like on Facebook or if somebody else is going to see it, you're going to be much less likely to eat that if you actually have to write it down. And believe it or not, people that keep food journals lose more than 50%, lose 50% more weight than those that don't. So these are just great things to help keep you accountable. Having a buddy really can help. Some people call these accountability partners. Now, it's great if you can have an in-person buddy, so that instead of going out to the bars drinking, you can actually do something like take a walk. But research has shown that a virtual buddy, somebody you can get through one of these online groups like Facebook or Meetup, they work just as well. I interviewed Dr. Michael Roizen in the clinic, and he said that having a buddy works better for things like quitting smoking or drinking than even the best anti-addiction medicine. And you can get a whole group like what they have here in Marshall, or just one other person. It doesn't even have to be somebody you know. But having a buddy really helps increase compliance. And the third, in the compliance, the C stands for coach. And every now and then, people hire people like myself or John Pierre, maybe people that need a little bit more help. Because the thing is, if you're paying for it, just like when I went to the gym and had a trainer, you're more likely to show up and you're more likely to do it. So these are all ways to increase compliance. The third C in the 7 C's to success is consistency. Tony Robbins says that it's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, it's what we do consistently. Why? Because what we do consistently becomes a habit. Take brushing your teeth, for example. I would guess that probably everybody here brushes their teeth at least once, if not twice a day. When you brush your teeth, do you sit there thinking about how hard it is to unscrew the cap of the toothpaste and how you have to squeeze it out? No, maybe when you were little and you were first learned how, but you don't anymore because brushing your teeth has become a habit. As a matter of fact, it's what we call an automatic habit. It's something you do every day, I'm guessing, whether you feel like it or not, whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood. And you probably brush all your teeth, not just one of them. And so the thing is when you do things consistently, it becomes a habit. If you think about people that have had success in other areas, how often do they do their things? So for example, let's take musicians. I don't know if you're familiar with Itzhak Perlman. He's considered one of the greatest violinists of all time. He was a virtuoso, I believe, by the age of 6. And of course, he did have some innate talent. But how often do you think he practices and still practices? Every time I've read something about him or heard him interviewed, it's about 3 to 5 hours a day. Think about athletes that you love that are at the top of their game. Sure, a lot of them have some innate ability, but what about Kobe Bryant? Do you know how much that guy practices in addition to what he's already practicing with the team? Read about him. And the thing is these people are doing these things consistently. That's how they become great at them. And you can become great at adopting a healthful plant-based diet and other wonderful lifestyle habits, but you have to do it consistently. If the only time you eat kale is on Thanksgiving, it's probably going to take a lot longer. So you want to do things, and you want to do them consistently, because that's how habits are created. The 4th C and the 7 C's to success is continuing education. This used to be called the 3 C's to success, then it was 4, and I keep adding C's. This was given to me by my personal plant-based physician, Dr. Roy Artal, because he thought it was so important. You know, Albert Einstein once said that it's not that I'm that smart, it's that I stay with the problem longer. And with continuing education, the thing about it is you really don't have to know why to do this to do it. The truth is you're going to hear from some experts in the plant-based world that are going to give you all kinds of scientific evidence why you should adopt a plant-based diet. But the truth is knowing and doing are two different things, and it's actually probably more important to do it than to know it. But knowledge is power, and when you know why you're doing it, it can really help you continue doing it, but also sometimes when you interact with other people of differing viewpoints. You know, as I said, I've been vegan for almost 40 years now, and if I had a nickel for every time somebody said to me, "Where do you get your protein?" I could retire. But because of continuing education, I no longer say, "From eating annoying people like you." You see, because of continuing education, I'm able to say with authority, well, you know, plants actually have protein, and there's more protein per calorie in broccoli than steak. Did you know that 100 calories of broccoli has 11.4 grams of protein, whereas 100 calories of steak is only 5.2? So that's why continuing education can be helpful. All of you here for this weekend is continuing education. And continuing education doesn't have to be expensive. You can get books, you can borrow them from your library, and now with YouTube, almost all of us have YouTube channels or lectures that you can watch for free. So continuing education is the 4th C in the 7 C's to success. The 5th C in the 7 C's to success is change. It's been said that nobody likes change except for a wet baby. But the thing is it is difficult to change, so you have to at least be willing to change. Think about it. It's been said that it's easier to change somebody's religion than their diet. But if you are changing your diet, you have to be willing to change what you eat, and maybe who you eat with, and how you prepare the food. And if you go to restaurants, and which restaurants you go to, and what you order at restaurants. So yes, change can be difficult. It's often said that people don't change until the pain associated with change is less than the pain of staying the same. So just be willing, and just try it for 21 days. The 6th C to the 7 C's of success, I could do a whole hour lecture on, and it's community. Because for a lot of people, this is a deal breaker. John Donne said that no man is an island, and us humans are interesting creatures because we actually like being with each other and care about what other people think. From an evolutionary psychology standpoint, we used to live in small groups of about 20 or 30 people. And if we didn't go along with the tribe, we were cast out and it meant death. Well, that doesn't happen anymore, and we could live by ourselves. But the thing is we want other people, when we do things differently than other people, it can often feel very isolating, socially isolating. And so while you know it's hard for you to change, it's going to be even harder for you to change your loved ones. So what I recommend is get a new community. Like Ray Kinsella said in The Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. Join groups like Meetup and Facebook groups or organizations like Get Healthy Marshall so that you can now have new friends and new community of like-minded people that will support you and lift you up when you're going for these dietary and lifestyle changes. The last C in the 7 C's to success is compassion. Albert Schweitzer once said that until man extends his circle of compassion to all living things, he himself will not find peace. And for most of my life, I had lots of compassion for those with feather and fur, but not so much for those with flesh. Until I met a man named John Pierre who set me straight. When you eat a plant-based diet, you are showing compassion to yourself, to the planet, which is being destroyed at an unprecedented rate for an insatiable desire for animal flesh, and to the creatures who are dying at a rate of about 10 billion an hour. The Dalai Lama said that if you want to be truly happy, practice compassion. And if you want others to be truly happy, to practice compassion. Again, you're not going to be perfect. If you make a mistake, forgive yourself, pick yourself up. Next bite of food is kale. My favorite quote in the whole world is by Robert Frost, who said, 2 roads diverged in the woods, and I took the one less traveled, and that has made all the difference. I encourage you to join so many of us here have already been on that road less traveled. And for just 21 days, try a plant-based diet and see the difference that it will make. Do it for yourself, do it for the planet, and do it for the animals. Thank you.